By the end of this video, you will know about neuter second declension nouns and names in the Greek New Testament. Hi, my name is Rob McIver. Let's talk about neuter nouns. Nouns, as you probably know already, come in 3 genders, 3 declensions, and 5 cases. So, today we're talking about gender, and in particular, the neuter gender. Every noun has a gender, masculine, feminine, or neuter. What does a neuter second declension noun look like? Our pattern noun is ἔργον, and there are some interesting features, as you might notice. Ἔργον uses the same form for the nominative, vocative, and accusative cases. And you might ask, well, how are we going to work out when is a noun a subject of a verb and when is it the direct object of a verb? Well, in practice, this is rarely a problem because there are usually other nouns involved, and most nouns discriminate between the endings they use for nominatives and accusative. So let me suggest something here. Why don't you say the declension of ἔργον with me? And in fact, that will be something you'll probably want to practice, just chanting out this declension out loud and occasionally writing it down. So, ἔργον, 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 ἔργου, ἔργω, ἔργα, 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 ἔργον, ἔργοis. Now, did you notice the similarities to logos? Logos is the pattern word we use for the second declension masculine nouns. And as you can see, logos has different forms for the nominative, vocative, and accusative singulars, and the nominative and accusative plurals. On the other hand, ἔργον just has ἔργον, ἔργον, ἔργον in the singular, and ἔργα, ἔργα, ἔργα in the plural for those 3 cases. There is some good news though. If you check the endings of the genitive and dative, they are the same between logos and ἔργον for both singular and plural. So you can see why the Greeks thought these 2 words were similar in the way they formulated their cases. That's why they are in the second declension. Just as there was a masculine article that had different case endings, so too there is a neuter article that has different case endings. Now, everything I've said in other videos about the function of case is true for both masculine and neuter, and when we get to them, feminine nouns. So nominatives are the subject of sentences, accusatives are used as the direct object, etc. There is one little tiny difference though. Neuter, plural, subjects take singular verbs. Don't ask me why. Languages just do unusual things. So we have an example here. Daimonion legoi. Our demon speaks. Daimonia legoi. Demons speak. Demons being plural. And one would expect the verb to become plural because it has a plural subject, but not if it is a neuter. Wow, that's a bit of a gotcha, isn't it? If you're trying to write from English into Greek. I did point out that it is daimonia legoi, not daimonia legusin, which would be the plural form of the verb. I was very hesitant to write down the incorrect form there. With a plural neuter subject, a singular verb is used. Now let's think about names and how they change with the different cases. In fact, many names can't change. Normal Greek words end only with a vowel or nu, rho, or sigma. There are actually 3 exceptions, but the rule holds up. And xi and psi are considered to end with a sigma. So, names which finish with letters other than a vowel or nu or rho or sigma do not decline because there was no pattern that they could use to decline them. Hence, they are called indeclinable nouns. Well, that makes sense, doesn't it? There are some examples. Abraham finishes with a mu, And that is not a vowel, a nu, a rho, or a sigma, is it? So Abraham does not decline, nor does Miriam, Jerusalem, Israel, Capharnaum. Yes. And as you can see, all of these are names that belong in another language, either Hebrew or Aramaic for most of them. So they are not Greek words, and therefore they don't decline. Here are two interesting names, though, that do decline. One of them is used a great deal in the New Testament. That is the name Jesus. And as you can see, Jesus has a distinctive nominative and accusative forms, but the vocative, genitive, and dative are all ending with oo. That's a bit strange. The good news, though, is that the names Jesus and Petros are almost always accompanied by an article. So the article declines, and we can therefore work out what case the name Jesus is. The challenge is Mωϋσῆς. Yes, it's not a very standard looking set of endings, is it? And it's not a word used that often in the New Testament. It's used often enough that it can be an issue, though. And there are some passages in John where the genitive singular of Moses is used, and you look at that and you scratch your head and you say, oh, what's going on here? I remember way back when I looked at how Mωϋσῆς declines, and that is the genitive. So how much attention should you give to these names? Well, my suggestion is you really do need to know how the name Jesus declines, and that you should probably wing it with Mωϋσῆς. If you need to know, you can look it up. Now, here is a list of the neuter second declension nouns that occur most frequently in the New Testament. And, as is my custom, to help you, I will say the word and I will give you a little pause to repeat it back. Biblion, daimonion, ἔργον, hieron, paidion, prosopon, and teknon. Now, did it occur to you to wonder why I separated the iota from the epsilon sound in hieron? Well, if you look up the list of diphthongs, epsilon iota is a diphthong, but iota epsilon is not. Therefore, these two vowels are pronounced distinctly. So, do I have some tips on how to make neuter nouns easier? Well, it just so happens I do. First of all, and as always, know your vocabulary. Know your vocabulary very well. Overlearn it. Learn it going from Greek to English and English to Greek. Practice writing it out so that you can spell it correctly. And once you can spell it correctly, then you will have it clearly fixed in your memory. Of course, over time, your memory of your vocabulary will diminish a little bit, so you will need to go back and review vocabulary from time to time. Also, you will want to know the declensions. So you will want to be able to say єργон, 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 єργу, єрго, єрга, 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 єргон, єргоis. Yes, just, well, not just like that, probably in your head, because you need to be able to recognize the case ending very quickly, because the case ending shows the function of that noun in the sentence. Study the examples given in the textbook and practice. And might I suggest exercise 6 in my book, Beginning New Testament Greek Made Easier. That exercise will give you lots of practice on using neuter second declension nouns and mix in a few masculine second declension nouns just to keep you on your toes and to remind you that you should already know those nouns as a vocab item. Let me sum up neuter nouns. If you know logos, and if you know second declension masculine nouns and how the cases work on second declension masculine nouns, learning neuter second declension nouns is a tiny step. There are a few little differences. There is the fact that the nominative and the accusative has the same form, and also the little gotcha that Plural neuter nouns have singular verbs, but aside from that, it's just one step further. So neuter nouns are reasonably easy to incorporate into your existing knowledge. Now, this video is part of a series of videos on nouns and their cases and also other aspects of New Testament Greek, all designed to make New Testament Greek easier to understand. You can most easily find these videos by subscribing to my YouTube channel, NT Greek Made Easier, or by following me on x.com at robmciver2024. And hey, if you found this video helpful, why not let me know by clicking on the like button below or by clicking on the heart icon. Thank you.